Good morning, and we are in section 88. It is one of I think it's the largest section in the Doctrine and Covenants. This picture here is of the School of the Prophets. You see how this was above the Newell K. Whitney store, I believe. And quite a simple setup, really, if you think about it, but a lot of things happened in there that are historically significant, including section 88, which we're just about to read. And in Doctrine and Covenants 88, a couple of things. They're asked to establish a house of God, and if I've got this right, they've already talked about building a temple in Zion in Missouri, but also I'm not sure if they've already talked about building. Oh, has it done that? Building a Zion or a house in Kirtland, but definitely here they know that they need to build a house of God. So this I find it interesting. What I found interesting is the fact that this is right after the very short section on war. If this is the olive leaf, which is called, or olive branch, or a revelation on peace, then it's interesting. It came right after a very small section on war. And literally days after, probably less than a week after, I believe, is 27th, 28th. Yeah, just a few days, like 2 days after. Anyway, we'll probably get into that in a second. So I'm just going to read through the heading today. We'll dive into the scriptures the next few days. So every so often the Lord gives us a glimpse of His boundless majesty and power, and I find that just before I started reading this, and I was thinking we're going to take on 88. I'm thinking it does seem like we'll have some small revelations. I want to say small, but revelations dealing with different things. Like we have last week, we had a few chapters, not very many, but a few chapters just dotted in that were needed to discuss different little matters. But then we have things like Section 84, Section 76, just powerhouse, large revelations that just change things. It's like the Lord is saying, okay, here's one revelation. Now go and think about it and consider what you can do. And then He hits them with another revelation that just is majestic in its ability. And so you just see these just dotted out. And this is one of those. So we're going to spend the rest of the week on this. So here we've got His boundless majesty and power. Through stunning revelations, Doctrine and Covenants 88 is that kind of revelation, one about light and glory and the kingdoms that can make our earthly cares seem small by comparison. Even if we can't comprehend it all, we can at least sense that there's far more to eternity than we ever realized. For, of course, the Lord doesn't share these grand truths to intimidate us or to make us feel small. In fact, he promised, the day shall come when you shall comprehend even God. That glorious end that the Lord commanded his saints in Kirtland to form, perhaps it was to that glorious end, that the Lord commanded his saints in Kirtland to form the school of prophets. Organize yourselves, he said, prepare every needful thing, and establish a house of God. More than anywhere else, it is within God's holy house and in our homes that we can lift our vision beyond the mortal world, unveil his face unto us, and prepare us to abide a celestial glory. I think when I read this fills me with excitement to know more and to be more. I've mentioned before that I have on a little thing that I carry with me now, on a necklace thing, that is just like a small piece of metal, not very big, not even as big as about as big as maybe a cherry pit or something like that. And it reminds me that my knowledge is small in comparison to the whole world that the Lord created. So if God's knowledge was the whole world and mine was the size of a cherry pit against the world, that is a small amount. And yet he's promising that somehow, someday, we'll be able to comprehend even himself. Now I'm just going to start this part. Jesus Christ offers me peace, just days after warning that war would pour out upon all nations, as we just talked about. The Lord gave a revelation that Joseph Smith called an olive leaf, which is a traditional symbol of peace. Section head, see the Doctrine section heading. Throughout your study of section 88 this week, look for the Lord's messages of peace to you. That's where we're going today, this week. And that's where I'm going to end today. So I hope you can find peace, and I hope that we find peace together in this week as we discuss section 88. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.